You're listening to Tech Chat with Samantha, the podcast for CEOs and business owners who want to simplify, systematize, and scale without breaking. I'm your host, Samantha Pointer, certified automation service provider and owner of Samantha Pointer Enterprises. After going through my own seasons of crisis and survival, I learned that automation isn't optional, it's essential. Every week in just 15 minutes, more or less, I'll bring you stories, strategies, and practical steps to help you turn tech into your hardest working employee and build a business that runs without you. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Tech Chat with Samantha. This year, one of my themes you're going to hear me talk about a lot is this idea of scaling back to scale smarter. And I want to start January with something that might sound counterintuitive, especially if you've been told that growth means adding more. In this episode, scaling back is a strategy while simplifying system comes before growth. I'm calling it that because what I'm seeing right now across businesses of all sizes is not just a lack of tools, it's a lack of clarity. Why I say more is not always the answer is because most businesses don't need more software. They don't need more automations. They don't need another platform promising to fix everything. What they actually need is fewer systems that work better together. Now, I'm not talking about if you have no system at all. You definitely have to have some type of system. But if you're that business owner or that CEO who has a ton of systems that don't talk to each other, that don't work together, or just overkill, then this is the episode for you. Because over time, businesses accumulate tools reactively. One is for email, one is for scheduling, one is for payments, one is for projects, and so on and so forth. And before you know it, you're maintaining a tech stack instead of running a business. That's when growth starts to feel heavy. And we're wanting to pull away from this reactive accumulation of tech tools. So let me tell you what scaling back actually means. Scaling back doesn't mean doing less because you're shrinking. Hear me now. It means doing less so you can grow with intention. It looks like you asking, what tools are we actually using? What systems are duplicated? What processes are overly complicated? Especially this one, this question right here. I've seen again just in the past, I'm going to say 3 weeks, overly complicated processes. So really take time and think about that one. What processes are overly complicated? And then ask what exists because it once solved a problem that no longer exists. Again, when I get into the back end of some of these companies, that is one thing I see is an automation was built before, everything got crazy, before they had a lot of clients, before they had a lot of customers, or before a tool existed that solved that. So now that they no longer have this particular problem that they were solving at the time, they still have this tool or this automation running in their business. So again, you can see how that can just clutter up everything and how it can become confusing, especially when you bring in someone to help or a new person and they're trying to figure out, well, why is this like that, right? So think of it this way. Subtraction is actually leadership. So how does this simplification create momentum for you? When your systems are simpler, your decisions get easier. Your team moves faster and your data is clearer and your automations actually works. Simplification creates momentum because you remove the friction, and friction is what slows businesses down more than lack of effort. So we want to create momentum while we're simplifying. We want to empower our team when we're simplifying. We want to take into account what are the tools we're using? Why? Who is using this? Why are you using that? I just harken back to my days as an organizer of how I would actually try to find a more efficient way to do things. And I carry that into my business today. How can I make this more efficient? Really think about that. So you might be saying, hey, Sam, I get it. Yes, I'm with you on this. I want to simplify this year. I want to not be working like a chicken with its head cut off in my business this year. So, what can I do instead of adding more? Well, before you add anything new, I want you to do three things. The first thing I want you to do is inventory what you already have. What tools, that means tech tools, that means processes, all the things. What do we already have? What have we already paid for? What are we already in possession of? And then I want you, number two, to clarify what each system is responsible for. So if you are using a tool like Help Scout or Fresh Desk, I want you to clarify what it what its use is, what it's responsible for. Is this tool responsible for following up with my customers and providing customer service? Is this tool responsible for sending out all my communication? Is this tool responsible for housing all of our videos? Clarify what each system is responsible for. And number three, I want you to remove or consolidate anything that doesn't serve a clear purpose. No room for, gray areas here. Remove it or consolidate it. And I'm telling you, once you start this, you're going to find there are some tools that you, you might be paying for something and didn't know that, hey, this also does that, and I'm paying for that also. Just the other day, I found in one of my clients' email programs, they were actually paying a hefty amount extra for a feature they weren't even using. So I was able to identify that for them so they could get that taken care of. But again, it's easy to overlook if you're not taking time to really audit your tech stack, right? So remove or consolidate anything that doesn't serve a clear purpose. Growth is built on clutter is fragile, but growth built on clarity is going to last you a long time. So, if this episode is hitting close to home, the simplest next step for you is a tech audit, not to add anything, but to understand what you already have and how it's working. And that's exactly why I created my DIY tech audit starter kit. It helps you see your systems clearly before making any changes. You can go through, it's a Airtable base, you can go through, list all of your tech tools, pricing, function, what it does, what purpose it serves, who's responsible for it, all those different things. And then you can actually use this to make your decisions of we're going to cut this, we're going to consolidate this, we're going to use this with this. It's great. It's simple to use. I give you a walkthrough of how to use it, and this is actually a scaled down version of tech audits that I do with clients who get my full tech audit where I go through and do all that documentation for you. So if you want to get a head start and get the ball rolling, you can go to organizingguru.com and you will see the tech audit starter kit on there. I'll also link it in the show notes so you can get there, but don't overlook this step. This is a great time of year since it's the beginning of the year. This is a great time to really jump in there and audit your tech stack to see what you can get rid of, what you can consolidate, and really simplify what you're using and be more intentional about what you're using in your business. So, scaling back is not a setback. it's a strategy. And when you simplify first, everything else becomes easier, especially automation. So I hope this episode has helped you, has opened your eyes to what you can do right now. Again, beginning of the year, a great time for most people are still recovering from the holidays. So this is a great time to hop in there and get this stuff settled. And I will see you on the next Tech Chat with Samantha, where we'll dive even deeper.
That's it for today's Tech Chat with Samantha. If you're ready to stop being the bottleneck and finally get your systems working for you, grab the Tech Audit Starter Kit or book a technology breakthrough session at organizingguru.com. Thanks for listening, and remember, your business doesn't have to run you into the ground. With the right systems, it can run without you. Until next time, happy automating.